These are the 20 best Royal Rumble moments in WWE history. Number 20, the Garden erupts for the Hotrod. As soon as those bagpipes started playing, everyone stopped. Time froze and so did the in-ring action. The audience at Madison Square Garden went nuts for one of the biggest legends in the business. I mean, just look at CM Punk laughing. He's having the time of his life sharing the ring with one of his favorite wrestlers, Rowdy Roddy Piper, a senior citizen with his gut out making full-grown adults go crazy. Man, I love wrestling. Number 19, Nakamura earns a shot at the gold. Shinsuke Nakamura exploded onto the main roster in 2017 and wasted little time emerging as a top contender on SmackDown. He was one of a handful of stars who could realistically win the Rumble and earn a shot at Mania. However, with the likes of Roman Reigns, John Cena, and Randy Orton announced for the match, no one was betting money on it. And then it happened. Shinsuke stared down Reigns and dared him to bring the fight to him. Then he threw Roman over the top rope and to the floor in the biggest win of his career. It gave us hope that the New Japan star would have the sort of success he did early in NXT. Unfortunately, hope was all we were given. Number 18, a Reptile Rumble. This is one most people seem to forget. During the '89 Royal Rumble, Jake the Snake Roberts threw a snake to the middle of the ring, and everyone ran like their lives depended on it. Hey, that's one way to get everyone out of there. Talk about a Reptile Rumble. And I don't blame them either. Look at the size of that thing. This was one of the rare moments nobody felt like fighting during the Rumble, but it wasn't the only one. Number 17, Too Cool to Fight. The year is 2000, the dawn of the new millennium, an era that brought us Y2K fears, and the unforgettable moment when Too Cool turned the Royal Rumble into a dance floor extravaganza. Grandmaster Sexy, Scotty the Hottie, and Rikishi hit the stage, bringing excitement to the match. The Rumble is known for its high-stakes intensity, but Too Cool hit the pause button on the chaos and turned it into a full-blown dance party. As they stand in the ring by themselves, you can feel the anticipation building. The crowd erupts as the trio starts dancing, and the Rumble transforms into a spectacle. Fans are cheering and laughing at the unexpected turn of events, and the commentators are just soaking in the infectious fun unfolding before them. This impromptu dance-off was one for the history books. Speaking of history books, number 16, Asuka wins the first ever Women's Rumble. The first ever Women's Rumble was something fans wanted for a long time, and when it finally happened, it was indeed special. From seeing legends return to teasing dream interactions inside the ring, it was one of the best Rumbles ever. With surprise appearances from Lita, Tori Wilson, and Trish Stratus, it did enough to keep the casual viewer invested, while today's stars like Bayley, Sasha, and Becky carry the banner for their generation. Asuka would ultimately win the contest after a tense exchange with Nikki Bella on the ring apron and cash her ticket to WrestleMania 34. Seeing Asuka make history by winning this iconic match was an incredible moment, something fans will never forget. The fact WWE went with a new face to win it was refreshing. The cherry on top of the cake, however, was number 15, the debut of the baddest woman on the planet. Moments after Asuka won the Rumble, she was joined by Raw and SmackDown's women's champions Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And then it happened. Bad Reputation started playing, and Rousey received a well-deserved ovation. You know damn well what happened next. The baddest woman on the planet pointed at the sign to let everyone know she was going to Backlash. Just kidding. She was going to Mania. Lover or hater, there's no denying the shockwaves Rousey's debut caused in 2018. As the most influential woman in MMA history, her signing with the WWE was a big deal and brought new eyes to the product. Now, I'm not crazy about Ronda or anything, but here are some facts you can't argue with. Number 1, Ronda had one of the best in-ring debuts ever at WrestleMania 34, and number 2, just a year after her debut, Rousey played an instrumental role in the first ever women's main event at WrestleMania 35. Like I said, lover or hater, that's a pretty good rookie year. Before we move on to the next entry, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss another wrestling video from us. Number 14, Mickie James returns under contract with TNA. 15 years ago, this would never happen. The Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion appears on WWE with the title, using her theme song while the commentary team acknowledged her career with a rival promotion. It was a dream scenario, but one that played out in 2022 when Mickie James made her way to the ring, her Impact team Hardcore Country playing, and the commentary team publicly discussing Impact and its then KO champ. The fans were excited for the legendary Mickie James and watched the future Hall of Famer battle for nearly 12 minutes before being eliminated by Lita. It was an unforgettable moment that teased cooperation between WWE and other wrestling promotions. Hopefully it paved the way for moments like this to happen again. Number 13, Kofi Kingston's Survival Tactics. Kofi Kingston has redefined the art of survival in the Rumble with his jaw-dropping acrobatics. From handstands to chair-assisted leaps, Kofi's escapes have become a yearly highlight. One of them was when Kofi was on the apron. The Miz tried to kick him out, but Kofi did a handstand and then put his feet on the steel steps so that he steadied himself and went up the steps to return to the match. What an athlete. Kofi Mania is running wild, brother. Number 12, I'm marking out, bro. The 2011 Royal Rumble match, the new Nexus led by CM Punk, was dominating the match, when at number 21, Booker T made a surprise return to the WWE after 4 years, and the crowd went nuts. But they weren't the only ones who were excited to see Booker T. Matt Striker, one of the commentators at the time, was so thrilled that he couldn't contain his excitement.
Wait, it's a mark out moment! I'm marking out, bro!
Matt Riddle would be proud. His genuine reaction reflected the feelings of everyone else, because we were all excited to see the 5-time champion. Booker T has since gone on record saying that this night was one of the favorite moments of his entire career. Number 11, 3 Faces of Foley. Look at this perturbed individual tossing trash cans around like it's nobody's business.
There's some Dude Love fans. Too bad Dude couldn't be here.
Well, actually, Mr. Ross,
Mrs. Foley's baby boy is pulling a triple header.
in an industry where storylines are often recycled and high-flying moves become the norm, it's hard to innovate. But that's exactly what Mick Foley did during the '98 Royal Rumble. During the late 90s and early 2000s, Foley had 3 distinct personas: Mankind, Cactus Jack, and Dude Love. Mankind was the weird dark character. Cactus Jack was hardcore wrestling personified. And Dude Love was a man trapped in the 70s, convinced he was God's gift to women. Collectively, they were known as the Faces of Foley. During the 1998 Royal Rumble, Mrs. Foley's baby boy entered the Rumble 3 different times throughout the match, becoming the first person ever to do so. If you thought these Royal Rumble moments were good, get ready for the top 10. Number 10, McIntyre takes Lesnar to Claymore County and fulfills his destiny. Brock Lesnar entered the 2020 Royal Rumble as the Universal Champion, looking to further establish himself as the most unstoppable force in wrestling. For the early part of the match, that's exactly what he did. Lesnar entered at number 1 and set the record for most eliminations, throwing 13 wrestlers over the top rope. He wasn't prepared for Drew, though. The Scottish psychopath made a thunderous statement by eliminating Brock with a Claymore kick, which shifted the balance of power in the match. Fans were tired of watching Lesnar toss people around for half an hour, so they erupted for McIntyre at the first hint his main event push was finally happening. Drew went on to win after eliminating Roman at the end, cashing his ticket to WrestleMania 36. Number 9, Rey Mysterio's miraculous win. Size doesn't matter in the Rumble, and Ray proved it by lasting over an hour and emerging victorious. His underdog story captured the hearts of fans worldwide. Rey Mysterio is the greatest underdog in wrestling history, and he's someone fans never expected to win a Rumble match. When he did, it was a super emotional moment, and fans couldn't quite believe it. But you can't talk about this without mentioning the passing of Eddie Guerrero, which took things to a whole new level. Mysterio was fighting for his friend and himself, and everyone was cheering him on during this amazing Rumble performance. Number 8, a hug that reeked of awesomeness. Wrestlers being forced to retire due to injury is always an emotional situation, and that's doubled if they can return to the ring eventually. That's something many wrestlers have been able to experience, and for Christian, that happened in the 2021 Rumble. Christian's return was kept as a surprise, and while there were no fans in the arena, it didn't stop this from being emotional. That was particularly true because he reunited with Edge in the ring, and the emotions on their faces told the entire story. It was a hug for the ages. Christian hadn't wrestled in 7 years. Following in the footsteps of his friend Edge, Captain Charisma returned to the squared circle after a series of concussions forced him to quit. Man, it's a shame how things turned out a few years later. Let's focus on the good times though. Speaking of which, number 7, rated R for return. Edge was forced to retire in 2011 in one of the most emotional moments in wrestling history. For a long time, no one thought he would ever wrestle again, including him. Doctors told this man that if he ever wrestled again, he would be paralyzed for life, and he underwent triple fusion neck surgery. There were rumors about this possibility leading up to the 2020 Royal Rumble, but no one actually knew. At number 21, when the Houston crowd heard the magical sentence, "You think you know me," everyone and their grandma lost their freaking minds. The emotions involved in him being part of wrestling again after being told by doctors it was impossible was magic unfolding in front of our eyes. It was one of the loudest pops ever. Regardless of whether or not you're a wrestling fan, there's no way you can watch this knowing the backstory and not get emotional. This man was forced to give up the only thing he ever dreamed about, wrestling. And after 9 long years, the ultimate opportunist was given one last opportunity to rewrite the end of his story on his terms. The emotion on Edge's face told the entire story as he held back his tears. Honestly, it's one of those moments where words can't do it justice. Just watch it. Number 6. Superman returns and the best final 3 ever. In 2007, Cena suffered a serious injury, a complete tear of his pectoral muscle. Cena was supposed to be out for 9 to 12 months, and there wasn't a single fan on earth who predicted his appearance at the 2008 Rumble. However, Cena defied the odds and came back way sooner than expected. Never wanting to be on the sidelines for too long, Cena worked extra hard to make his return. To the surprise of everyone in the ring, especially the game, Cena's return at number 30 sent the fans in Madison Square Garden that night into a frenzy. The crowd reaction says it all. Slight confusion followed by all-out pandemonium. Those cheers turned to boos as he entered the ring, and later exchanged punches with the Game and the Animal. This was easily the best final 3 ever in a Rumble match. Cena then delivered an AA to Triple H over the top rope, winning his first Rumble. In the digital age with the internet, there's no such thing as a secret, but Cena's return was proof that surprises still exist. Number 5. The best final 2 ever. If you're gonna do a wrestling Mount Rushmore, you must include The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. They helped define pro wrestling in the 90s and remain integral parts of WWE throughout the 2000s. In 2007, they were the favorites to win the Rumble and challenge for the world title at WrestleMania. For the joy of every wrestling fan alive, they were the final 2 in the ring after an epic Rumble. The cool thing about it was they were given more than the usual 2 to 3 minutes. In front of a red-hot San Antonio crowd, the 2 icons went at it for 9 minutes. And in the end, Taker tossed Michaels over the top. Number 4. A phenomenal debut. AJ Styles' debut in the 2016 Royal Rumble was years in the making. Long considered one of the best wrestlers alive, the Phenomenal One had competed in every major promotion in the industry, except the WWE. His arrival in one of WWE's premier events set in motion a fantastic year that saw him go one-on-one with Roman Reigns, make his WrestleMania debut, pin John Cena clean, and capture the WWE title. It also restored the belief that anything can happen in the Rumble, beyond the usual reappearances of legendary stars, looking for one last moment before riding off into the sunset. AJ Styles' arrival altered the course of the WWE. Number 3. Cena, Batista, and Vince's squads. During the 2005 Royal Rumble, but keep in mind this wasn't supposed to happen. Somehow they touched the floor simultaneously, and everyone was confused. But wait, there's more. Eventually, Batista eliminated Cena to win, as initially planned. Fans will never forget this moment. Number 2, both feet must touch the floor. Even though Michael Cole stresses it a billion times during the event that both feet must hit the floor, it's rare that someone only has one foot touch the floor, especially at the very end of the match. However, once upon a time there was a kid known for breaking hearts who had one of his feet touch the floor before winning the Rumble. Along with the British Bulldog and Lex Luger, Michaels was one of the favorites heading into the 95 Rumble. British Bulldog and HBK were the first 2 entries in the match, and the final 2 to leave the ring. In the end, Bulldog hit Michaels with a clothesline, sending him over the top rope and nearly eliminating him. But Shawn was able to hang on in a moment of sheer athleticism, onto the floor. It was the first time someone had entered at number 1 and won the whole thing. It was an unbelievable performance that fans never forgot. The cherry on top of the cake? The Heartbreak Kid doing a sexy boy celebration with Pamela Anderson. I'm talking prime Pamela Anderson. Baywatch Pamela Anderson. What a career this guy's had. Number 1. A tear in his eye after going the distance. Unlike most Rumbles, the 1992 Royal Rumble match was for the vacant WWE title. With superstars like Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, and The Undertaker, it was one of the most stacked Rumbles ever, which makes the Nature Boys win even more special. The former NWA star was the favorite to leave the match with his first world title in the WWE. Still, watching him outlast the industry's greatest characters and most prominent names was remarkable. Flair went the distance from number 1 and lasted over an hour in the match. More memorable than Flair's win itself, though, was Nature's post-match promo. The emotion on his face told the audience just how much the victory meant to him. After years of being disrespected and underappreciated in WCW, Ric Flair regained his confidence and was genuinely soaking in the moment and glory of his win. Man, the Rumble's crazy. It's always filled with unexpected moments, shocking wins, and mind-blowing returns. Speaking of returns, check out this video on the 10 most shocking returns of 2023. See you soon!